Okay, let's talk about something huge, the future of your career. Because honestly, the job market is going through a massive, once-in-a-generation shift between now and 2030. So in the next few minutes, we're going to break down what's really driving this change, where the incredible new opportunities are hiding, and most importantly, how you can get ready for it all.
You know, the whole conversation about where our careers are headed really boils down to this one, simple, powerful idea. The world of work is changing faster than ever before. And look, that's not just some buzzword or hyperbole. It's the absolute reality we're all living in, right now.
So how fast is faster than ever before? Well, here's the one number you really need to remember for the next decade. 50%. That's right, 50%. The World Economic Forum says that half of the jobs that exist today will either be automated or totally transformed by 2030. Just let that sink in. We're talking about half of every.
And that, right there, forces us to ask the biggest question of all. It's not a matter of if this change is happening, it's here. The real question is, who's going to be ready to adapt and really thrive in this new world, and who might get left behind?
All right, so let's dive into the sheer scale of this thing. We're calling it the Great Career Disruption. And believe me, this isn't just another dip in the economy. It is a massive, unprecedented challenge. And the numbers, well, they're kind of mind-blowing.
And here's where it gets really weird. The central paradox of this whole disruption. So on one hand, you hear that 50% of jobs are being transformed, and you might think, oh no, jobs are disappearing. But then, look at the other side. A crazy 85 million jobs could go unfilled by 2030. So what does that tell us? This isn't a problem of not enough jobs. It's a problem of not enough of the right skills. It's a huge mismatch between the people we have and the skills companies are desperate to hire.
Okay, so what's the engine behind all of this? What's actually causing this massive shift? Well, it really boils down to three main forces that are totally reshaping how we work.
First up, no surprise here, is technology. We're talking about the explosion of AI, machine learning, automation. It's touching literally every single job. Second, we've got demographics. Think about it. In the West, you have aging populations, which means a huge boom in healthcare jobs. But then in places like Africa and South Asia, you've got these massive youth booms creating brand new talent pools. And finally, there are these big global shifts. Climate change is a huge one, pushing us toward green energy jobs. And of course, the remote work revolution has completely changed the game, making talent borderless.
All right, so we get the why. We know the forces at play, but where is this all actually happening? Like, on the ground? Let's take a look at the new global job map.
Okay, now this is fascinating. Check this out. It's something called the Great Shrink. If you look at these two lines, you'll see something that seems kind of impossible at first. The total number of people on the planet is going up, right? But the number of people actually working, the global workforce, is set to drop by a shocking 10% by 2030. So what does that mean? It means a smaller and smaller group of working people are going to have to support a much larger population. That points to a future with way more pressure on the economy and a huge reliance on automation to pick up the slack.
And this shrink isn't happening everywhere equally, not at all. This map shows a really clear divide. You've got what we can call contraction zones, places like Europe and North America where the workforce is actually getting smaller. But then you've got these incredible growth zones in the Middle East and Africa. It's creating this aging North versus young South dynamic. And for those places where the workforce is shrinking, the game completely changes. It's no longer about just having enough jobs. It's about having the right skills. It's what we call the reskilling imperative, the urgent need to prepare people for those high-value careers that AI can't just take over.
And we're seeing this exact same pattern play out across different industries. The shift in value is just stark. Look over on the left. You see traditional sectors like agriculture and manufacturing. They're facing declines of 40, 50, even almost 60%. But then you look to the right, and the growth is just explosive. Cybersecurity and AI, they're expected to double. The space economy, up 80%. There's no other way to see it. This is a massive, permanent shift away from manual jobs and straight towards high-tech, knowledge-based work.
Okay, so we've laid out the challenge, and it's a big one. But now for the fun part, the exciting part. Where is the opportunity in all this chaos? Let's talk about the actual high-paying jobs that are popping up.
So the big opportunities seem to be clustering in a couple of key areas. Let's call the first two code and earth. In the code world, all this new AI is creating a huge demand for jobs you might not have even heard of 5 years ago, like AI ethics auditors or generative AI architects. And yeah, the salaries can get well into 7 figures. Then you've got earth. The massive global push to fight climate change is creating a huge need for roles like carbon capture engineers and climate risk analysts.
And the other two booming areas? Let's call them life and space. In the life sciences, you've got the biotech revolution, driven by personalized medicine. This is creating jobs like genomic data scientists. And then there's space. Look, commercial trips to the moon and Mars, this isn't science fiction anymore. It's happening. And it means we actually need people like asteroid mining engineers. I mean, how cool is that? The potential in these fields is just absolutely massive.
So this all leads to the most important question, right? How do we actually get ready for all this? Well, this last part is your 2030 survival kit. It's the blueprint for how to become future-proof.
So the professional of the future-proof professional, isn't just a specialist in one thing anymore. They live at the intersection of these three big areas. First, you absolutely need technical expertise. You got to be able to speak the language of AI and data. Second, you need those human-centric skills, emotional intelligence, creativity, critical thinking, basically all the stuff that computers are really bad at. But the third one, interdisciplinary knowledge, is the real secret sauce. It's not enough to know biology or to know how to code. The magic happens when you can combine them to become that genomic data scientist we were talking about. That intersection, that's where all the value is created.
And to build these kinds of skills, the way we learn has to totally change. I mean, the old model of just memorizing facts for a test in these separate, siloed subjects, it's just not going to work anymore. The future model is all about things like AI-powered learning that adapts to you, working on real-world projects that cross different fields, and collaborating with people everywhere. Basically, education has to stop being a checklist and start being a strategic bridge that connects you directly to what these new industries actually need.
So let's wrap this up with one final thought. The future, it isn't some place we're all going to arrive at one day. It's a direction, and it's a direction that's being paved by the choices we make right here, right now. So the only real question left to ask yourself is, which way are you going to go?